Hey everybody, this is Ori from OneScales. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the most popular settings you need to turn on and enable after you've set up your Google Analytics 4 account. This is what I've titled 11 most overlooked Google Analytics 4 settings and to-dos. So most of you, when you set up Google Analytics 4, you go, you turn it on, you set up the data stream, you put the code on all pages, and then you finish. But actually, if you want more data, you want to run ads, you want to look at data in better ways, you actually have to turn on these things, these important things, and look at some of these settings and also think about how your business interacts with them. So this video is exactly for that. So let's jump into them one by one. And as always, if you have any questions in the community, please ask in the comments. Go to our website, say hello, contact us, and we're here to make more information, better information, help you guys out there, learn from you guys, and make a community for web-related topics. Okay, so let's jump in. So first one is called Data Settings and Google Signals. So I'm going to go, while I'm talking, I'm going to go to Google Analytics, and I'm going to go to Settings. So Data Settings, what does that mean? When you go to Admin and you go to Data Settings, you're going to have to turn on some settings. In particular, if you want to run Google Ads and you want Google Analytics to share information with Google Ads, especially remarketing campaigns, audiences, things like that, you're going to have to turn on Google Signals right here. You're going to have to enable it for the regions that are relevant to your business, and you'll be able to share information. So what else would you need to do? If you want to gain more information, you want to share information between the platforms, you're going to actually have to turn on granular location, device data, so you can share more device data. Advanced settings for ad personalization, you're going to have to turn on if you click on the settings here, and you're going to actually agree to the user data collection, which you've done when you've registered. The next thing is data retention. For information about your customers, about your visitors, the default is 2 months right here when you turn it on. I would like to recommend for you to do 14 months so you can have more data in the back end. When you look at your reports, you'll have 14 months instead of 2 months. Okay, so that's the first thing for data right here, for data settings and Google Signals. Number 2 is linking the channels. So Google Analytics has a lot of information, but you want to, in most cases, link them to other Google properties. So Google Search Console, Google Ads, we just talked about, and things like Merchant Center, things like that. So while you're in the settings and you just finished the data settings, you can go down here to product links, and you can go to Google Ads, and you can click on link. And as long as you have the same Google account with your analytics and your Google Ads, you can link the accounts so they can share information. Okay. The second thing you want to do, if you have an e-commerce site and you have Google Shopping, either organic or ads or both, you can go to Google Merchant Center. You can link right here as well. And the last one I'd recommend is Search Console. If you have Search Console, if not, you should register. Go link it. I've already linked mine, so I don't have a link button, but you'll be able to link yours yourself. Okay, so that's the second thing right here. The third thing is you're going to want to add the Search Console itself. So if you haven't gone to add Search Console, obviously you need to create a Search Console and then link it, which we just discussed. The next thing you want to do is go to your reports right here. And you can actually add the Search Console reports in your left-hand side right here. So you're going to go to Reports, and you're going to go to Library. And as long as you've linked it together, under the collections, you can actually go, and you'll have a Search Console right here. And what you'll have to do is you'll actually have to enable it, which is Publish. I've already published it, so I have an Unpublished. And you're going to basically put the collection right here. You might see it below here, but basically I had it right here in the collections. I just needed to enable it because I've linked in the step before. Okay? So let's jump into the next one, setting up audiences. If you are either running remarketing campaigns or you're actually wanting to look at your data in different ways, your different audiences, you want to set up audiences. Okay, so let's look at the data here. So if you look at your customer information, for example, user right here, you'll have audiences right here. And what that does is in addition to just seeing things like traffic and pages and mobile visitors, all these things, you can actually set up your own audiences to see your data based on segments that are important for you. For example, you might have an audience of males or females, or you might have an audience of people that have purchased certain products or have not, or from certain countries and mobile device. And you can set up these audiences right here. So how do you do it? You go to admin as well, and you go here, you scroll down, you go to audiences, and then you go here and you create a new audience. I've just created one just for the video, but it's just new, so I don't have it in the report you just saw. but you'll have audiences right here, and you can just create new audiences either based on templates right here or your own settings. You can do this, create a custom one, and then you can set up all these settings right here. Okay, so for example, maybe country, okay, contains US, just for example, United States, right here. And I can do either an or and. Also, for example, let's do and device, just for example, is mobile. So I can make all kinds of audiences, and you can think about a lot of very creative things, okay? Once you do that, as you saw before, you'll have audiences in your reports. So for example, I can go to any report right here, or most reports, not any reports, and I can actually go ahead and I can add audiences to my extra columns, and then I can start segmenting them in different ways. Okay, so next one, let's jump in next one, excluding your traffic. If you have an office and you have a VPN or you have a set IP, you want to exclude your traffic so you don't, when you visit your own business or your own website, you don't want that data to be messing up your data, right? Dirtying your data. Okay, so how do you do that? Again, you go to settings and you go to your data stream, which is your actual Google Analytics data that you're sending, right? So, and you go here, you go to configure tag settings and select show all, and then you're going to go here to define internal traffic. And if you have your own IP, you're going to put your business IPs or your range of your IPs, and then you're going to actually say, I do not want Google Analytics to track visitors that come from this IP, for example, my office IP. Okay, let's go to the next one. Adjust engaged sessions. Okay, so if you're familiar with Google Analytics Universal Analytics, the one before, you'll notice that there's sessions and users and all these metrics. But now in Google Analytics 4, you actually have engaged sessions. So let's look at it for a second. Okay, so I have, for example, my visitors and my users and my sessions, and now I have something called engaged sessions. So you see, I had 97 visits or sessions, excuse me, and 33 of them were engaged. So what does that mean, engaged? So this is an important concept. So the engaged means the number of sessions that lasted at least for 10 seconds and had a conversion or visited at least 2 pages. Okay, so one of the things excuse me, one of the things that you can actually change is you can actually change this 10 seconds. So for me, an engagement means someone is interested in my business, my page, my product, my service, etc. And a lot of people online debate if 10 seconds is considered something engaged. And so my opinion is 10 seconds is probably a little too little to be calling someone engaged. So you might want to change that. So let's go here to admin. Okay, and let's go to engaged. Let's go here to, one second, let me try to remember. Data streams. Look at all my data, configure tag settings. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Excuse me. Right here, adjust session timeout. And here's where you have the engage time. So you can actually change it to 10, 20, etc. Now, this is up to your business to decide what an engaged session is. But in my opinion, probably 20 or 30 seconds might be better for many of those businesses out there. But the default is 10 seconds, and I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. Okay, this is good for your reporting. Okay, so let's go to the next one. List unwanted referrals. Okay, so if you go to, let's go to a report for a second. Okay, so if you go to report and you have some kind of conversion, for example, you're an e-commerce site and you have someone buying something. So if you remember in the old Universal Analytics and Google Analytics 4, the attributed data that gets the actual conversion. So let's say if you have a conversion, I don't have on this site because it's a new site, but let's say you have an event that you decide to be a conversion. Let's say someone purchases it. So for example, someone came from organic search and they made a conversion, you would have one here. So the last source, the last time that the visitor comes to the website and converts, gets the attribution, gets the vote, or gets the credit, let's say, for the actual conversion itself. If you want to remove some referrals, for example, you do not want it to count as a conversion, in particular for e-commerce sites, for example, a payment gateway. Maybe you leave the website to pay and you come back for the success of order, you can exclude that. And so this is very, very common for e-commerce sites, but also for other sites. Maybe you point someone to a CRM or external site and they come back. So how do you do that? You go back to the data stream, you go to the data stream, you go to your tag settings, and you click on show all right here, and then you click on list unwanted referrals, and now you start adding all the referrals that you do not want, you want to ignore. You do not want to be listed as referrals. For example, maybe paypal.com might be one of them or something like that. Okay, depends on your payment gateway or your specific requirement. And again, if you have any questions in any of these things, please ask us. If you have a specific particular question or a broad question, we're happy to answer everything. And okay, so let's jump to the next one. Setting up content groups. Okay, we've covered this in another video, but very simply put, let's discard here, content groups. Okay, so if you want to see your data in more ways, you can actually set up things just like we did audiences, which allow you to see your data in different types of groups or segments of different types of customers. You can also see your, let's see right here, you can also see how people visit specific pages on your site based on groups that you define. Okay, so content groups, what you need to do is you actually have to set up either in code or Google Tag Manager. You have to actually define on every single page what the group belongs to, what page that group belongs to. And I'll link in the description of this video the actual video that we made about it. But basically, we'll also have the link here, and it defines how to set up content groups on your site. It's very, very easy. It's basically just adding one line of code or setting up Google Tag Manager for it. Okay, so let's jump into the next one. Next one is remove reports from collections. One of the really nice things that you have in Google Analytics 4 is that you can actually change the links and the reports you have here in reports. So how do you do it? Very simply, you go to your reports, you go to library, and you're going to look under collections. And so basically collections are these sections right here. This is a collection, this is a collection, this is a collection. And within the collection, for example, business objectives, you have raise, examine, and within those you have other reports. So what do you want to do? You actually, depending on your business itself, you can actually decide to remove some. Maybe you don't need it. For example, monetization. I do not have right now e-commerce purchases, so I can actually go here to lifecycle. I can edit this right here, lifecycle, and right here I'm going to scroll down. I don't have e-commerce purchases. I'm going to click here and close, and I'm going to save it, and that's it, and then it'll disappear. So let's go here, save to current. Okay, so now I don't have e-commerce purchases. And I'm going to go here, and you see it's gone. It's gone right here. Okay, so that's number one. The second thing, which is really interesting, is you can actually add new reports. It's not just you can remove things or you can reorganize them. You can actually also add things. So for example, you can create a new report, or you can use reports that already exist. You can edit the collection, and you can just drag things to the left, and then you'll have it. For example, I want my landing pages to be here or somewhere else. It's a really, really nice feature, and you can build your own. And I think Google also encourages for you to build, and it's a great way for you to have the reports ready. You just click and you're good to go. Okay, great. So let's jump to the next one. Okay, so create new reports, we just talked about it, remove some, and create new reports, we just talked about it. The last thing you need to do, and this is just a concept for this video, is plan events and conversions. So one of the most important things that you have on your site, aside from traffic and time on site and all these kind of things, is you actually have your events, right? Everything in Google Analytics is considered events. A page view is an event, a form completed, an order, and many other things, viewing a video. So you want to think about what is important for your business, and you want to actually create those events. Most likely you need either a Google Tag Manager or a developer to do so. And you really want to monitor things like banner clicks and whatever is important for your business. You want to monitor it. And once you create the event and the first event actually goes and sends data, then you're going to actually go here to your admin, go to events, and you're actually going to find the event. You're going to turn it on as a conversion, and you're going to go from there. And then slightly after that, it'll start showing data from the time you actually turn it on. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope everything makes sense. I hope it's not too fast. The most important thing is you view this video and you test and you try things yourself and you do things related to your business. And as always, we're always here to help and do our best. If we can help, we'll help. ask questions, say hello, subscribe, share with a friend, and like these videos. And if you have a question, again, ask us. We've been helping a lot of people online, and we're here to help. This is our mission. This is what we're trying to do: make things better for everybody, make things more efficient, save you guys times, do better, grow your business, grow whatever service or whatever thing you're doing in your work or your business. And that's it. Much appreciated. Thank you guys. We'll be making more and more videos, and this is just the beginning. So please subscribe, like, share, everything. Thank you very much.